talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Got a very special guest making his debut on the show. It's my man, Ferris Sharari from the Hurt Business Podcast. How we doing today, brother?
I'm wonderful, bro. I'm happy to be here making my debut.
I know, right? Hey, man, we just, kicked together all night Saturday night at Cage Titans 58. It's kind of become a tradition at this point where me and you come on and do a little recap. Usually it's on your show, but we're kicking it on my show this week. Happy to have you as always, brother. Thanks for coming on.
My man, thank you for having me, bro. I'm excited to talk some of these great fights that we had the pleasure of watching.
Oh, dude, it was an insane night card. The night card was absolutely bananas. I know me and you were kicking it Saturday night for the night card. I was there for the day card as well. So I'm just going to run through that a little bit, touch on some of those fights, and then me and you can dive into the night card a little bit. The day event, man, kicked off at 12 p.m. Eastern. 17 fights, a lot of fights, man, all amateurs. There was one pro MMA fight. That was the main event of that card. Then you got two Muay Thai bouts. We had a grappling super fight with Christina Caciques. And then just a slew of amateur MMA bouts, man. Some really great fights there. Just highlight a couple people that really, stuck out to me. In the Muay Thai bout, Nico Mavromatis, Muay Thai bout, man, he was out here slinging right hands, just, doing his thing. He really stuck out to me in the Muay Thai game. I think a lot of people are starting to get, really used to Cage Titans doing Muay Thai. It's good for these guys to get in there, and if they can't get an MMA belt, they can always get in there and do some Muay Thai, stay active, and work on the stand up. So I like seeing him. He looked really good. Ash Rao, he won by submission in his fight. He looked really good. I believe he came out to the Sopranos theme song as well, which was
that's
fire.
Gangster. Yeah, I love that.
I believe it was him. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But whoever walked out to that theme song was fire because that's immediately caught my attention. That's my fucking show. I love that.
Dude, same, bro.
Yeah.
I have like a whole fucking look at I have like the whole disc
hell
CDs every single season, man. This is all time right here.
Yeah, that's definitely up there, bro. Definitely up there. That's sick. I gotta get me one of those like collection box sets, man. I love it.
Need it.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Lindsay Kelly, she got her first W, her first amateur W, dominant ground and pound finish in the first round. She looked really good. This one kid stuck out to me, Blaze Nichols. He was actually cornered by Kyle Bochniak, ex-UFC fighter. He was in the building cornering Blaze. He fought Carlos Ballestier, who was 1-0 as an amateur. So it was a very intriguing matchup. It was funny. Blaze walked into the cage, and you know how they do their warm up and they like run around the cage. And Carlos was already in the ring, so he tried to do like fist bumps with him, and Blaze didn't do anything. So Carlos flipped him off, dude. He was like flipping him off in the thing, and Blaze comes out there and smokes him in the first round. Stands over him, is yelling at him. The energy was unreal for that one, man. Especially when you're getting cornered by a guy like Kyle Bochniak, bro. You can't go wrong. So it's cool to see him in the building, and his prodigy there is 1-0 as an amateur. Pretty cool. Another kid, man, Timmy Melvin, big body, bro, big body. I think he was 170 was his fight. Tall dude. His hands are like cinder blocks, bro. He just every punch he landed was doing damage. He ended up going out there and getting a finish. Heavy handed kid. I'm excited to see him back again. That makes him 2-0 as an amateur now. So very excited for the future for that kid. He's a big kid for 172. Let's see. Christina Caciques, she was supposed to be the main event in a pro MMA bout. Her opponent fell through. Then she ended up, settling for a grappling super fight. She went out there and got a submission win. Just happy that she was able to, get some work in, even though her MMA belt fell through again. She's had a hard time getting opponents to stick. So, it sucks for her again to have this happen, but it was cool to see her get in there and get some grappling done. So props to her on that W. Then we had, the Bambino, Phil Lusigno. He's always a blast to watch in the cage. He went out there and got a W, 2-3 now as an amateur. He trains at a great camp over there at Yatong too, so it's always cool to see those guys come through. And then I had a personal stake in this one, Jiggy, Julian Connerton versus Santi Munoz. Jiggy ended up going out there and getting the decision loss to Santi. Santi did a good job of neutralizing Jiggy's stand-up, taking him to the ground when he needed to. And, Jiggy just unfortunately couldn't get up, but he looked great on the stand-up. His right hand was hitting hard. He was throwing some great kicks. But unfortunately, and it was crazy because Santi's not like in his first fight for Cage Side, Santi went out there and had a fight of the night performance type deal where he's out there slanging and banging hands. So I think it caught Jiggy off guard once, Santi wanted to go to the mats with him. But,
Mhm.
it's the MMA game. You got to be ready for everything. But props to both those guys. It was a great fight. W for Santi to make him 2-0 as an amateur. And, Jiggy will go, make his adjustments, retool. He's getting ready to go to Indiana in April for another bout. So he's already got a quick turnaround. So many fights on this card, man. Like I said, 17 bouts. It was insane to go sit through there in the day card. It was awesome. I think this next kid, though, Carlos, excuse me if I butcher your last name, Vespasiano. He trains over at Loco Lobo. I think this kid could honestly contend for an amateur title by the end of the
Mhm.
year. He's absolutely nasty, man. His whole game well-rounded. Jiu-jitsu is insane. He went out there and got a finish. And then let's see, let's talk about Ozzy Martin. He fought Daniel Keepers. This one was definitely knockout of the day. He slept Daniel Keepers hard. I believe it was first round. Set him up nice, clocked him with the right hand, put him down, and then finished with some ground and pound to put him out cold. Uh, after the fight, Nick Heiler was like, "Yo, you got to get this guy on the podcast. We don't know anything about him, so hopefully I can reach out to him soon and get him on the show and get to know this kid a little bit because he looks like he's now 2-0 as an amateur. Seems like he
Oh
has a bright
man.
future, and he went out there and dominated in his Cage Titans debut. So super excited to see what's next for him, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is that he's the one who grabbed his crouch, right? As soon as
I
he,
believe
he
so. Yeah, I believe so. He
love a
he
good showboat,
I
dude.
know, man. You got, dude. We were full of theatrics, day and night card on Saturday, man. It was amazing.
Mhm.
Let's see who else we got. Bobby Baker beat Dion Perry. Dion Perry had a great quick finish in his first bout at Cage Titans. He ended up getting a loss on this one, but Bobby Baker looked really good. Got his first W in his MMA career. So props to Bobby. Troy Cutter and Lozon MMA's Andrew Jacobs. Jacobs has, he's strong kid, man. He
Yeah,
got a buzzer beater at the end of the first round. Ref ended up stopping it, got a TKO win at the end of the first round, like literally seconds left on the clock. Um, he just put his hand, he was behind him, just throwing like big
yeah,
clubbing blows, ended up rocking the dude pretty hard. Ref stepped in and saved him a little bit before the bell. Ends up getting a W, goes to 2-2. I'm excited to see this kid again, man. All the Lozons guys, they always turn out great products out of there, man. So super excited to see any of those guys come in there and throw down. And then we had the title fight, man. Teddy Politis versus Key Baltazar. I was super excited for this fight. Unfortunately, it ended very quick. Teddy Politis put Key Baltazar, excuse me if I butcher your name, to sleep with a submission, put him right to
wow,
sleep. I was standing on the side of the cage where the submission happened, and you could tell in the crowd that Key was out cold from the choke, but the ref couldn't see it on time, so everybody in the
uh,
crowd was yelling, "He's out, he's out, he's out." Ref comes over, splits it up, and then just face down into the mat.
damn,
You hate to see it as a fan, but the submission was beautiful. Definitely submission of the day, maybe submission of the entire card. Might have to take that back if we after we run through this night card, but beautiful submission win for Teddy Politis to get that amateur strap at 135. Excited to see what he does with it. Hopefully we see him defend it maybe in May. I know there's a card coming up in May. So that'd be great. And then the main event of the day card, it was a professional belt, Orelvis Hernandez versus Daniel Mola, two big boys at 205. Orelvis Hernandez is just a massive man. I believe I heard something like someone said that Orelvis thought the fight was at middleweight, but it was actually contracted for 205. So there was some kind of miscommunication there, but he said F it and, decided to fight at 205 regardless, goes in there. It's his pro debut as well, fighting a guy that was already 1-0. So, he thugged it out and he went to two and fought at 205 for his pro debut and got the W, third round finish. And
nuts.
yeah, I mean, most guys would say no, thank you. I'll reschedule for the correct weight. But if that story that I heard is correct, that's pretty crazy. And the kid looked good, man. I think he's definitely much better suited at 185. I think he's gonna be a monster at the middleweight division. But the fact that he went out there and thugged it out at 205 was awesome and well deserved W for Orelvis Hernandez.
Yeah,
And that was it for the day card, man. It was a blast. I've never been to a day MMA event, especially with that amount of fights, dude. 17
that's a
kept
lot, man.
kept me busy all day. That's for damn sure. I had a
Hell yeah.
blast. and it just got me even more excited for the night card. And then you pulled up for the night card. A couple of my other Cajun homies pulled up for the night card, and we were together all night having a blast watching the
Hell yeah.
fights. And you know
Rolling
what?
deep.
It can't get better than this night card that we experienced. All pro night card, the first all pro card in Cage Titans history. Um, just an amazing show overall, man. Just off the top, bro. I'm done talking for right now. I'm rambling. I'm a rambling man right now. So let's get to you a little bit, bro. How did you feel about this night card, bro?
Oh man. Well, first and foremost, it was a fun time with the Caged In guys. You, your boy, I believe Steve,
Yeah, Steve and Mike are with
Steve,
me.
Steve and Mike. Shout out both of them. Those two guys were a good time.
Mhm.
Uh, and it just so happened that 286 UFC was just going on at during some of these early fights. So we were watching those fights, yeah, watching these fights. That was a good time. Shout
Yeah, it
out
was a
Leon.
blast.
But yeah, man, I think Cage Titans delivered their first, like you said, all pro card was fireworks from the first fight. Started with Fuller and Poirier. And
Mhm.
Poirier Joe, that's a kid that's like that dude's a beast, man. And the crowd was going nuts. He
Yeah, it
had
is crazy.
like there was probably three or four of these guys in this main card who like had like deafening the building. Like it was so loud in there that like we're like, how many people are here?
Yeah, right. Well, is
Like
it these guys, man, that fight like their whole AMI career for Cage Titans, their whole pro career for Cage Titans. So these are the fans that have seen these guys come up through the building forever now.
yeah.
So those are the guys that always get the biggest pops in the building. You can tell who the Cage Titans hometown favorites are every time you step in the building. And Joe is definitely one of those guys, man, making his pro debut on Saturday night. It was awesome.
Yeah, dude. And then pure domination to exactly how you would want one to go. A Von Flue choke, that's definitely not in the script. And
All
even he
right.
hopped on the mic. It was like, I didn't even know what that choke was.
Yeah,
And it
right.
was just fucking awesome, dude. The crowd was going nuts. And it was well deserved, man. He's somebody who's had it, like you said, a long, extensive amateur career at Cage Titans. He's been under those lights before. And this is just his first one. Just think about the next one and the next one. And seeing a guy like Valdina, who we'll talk about in a few minutes,
Mhm.
seeing his rise. He just had his third pro fight. Think about his first one, and that was loud. And the second one, and this one was by far the loudest of all three of his of his
Oh, yeah,
of his pro
easily.
fights. And it just gets better and better and better with time.
Mhm.
So I'm excited for Joe, man. That kid's a beast.
For sure, man. I think he always his moniker was always like the biggest flyweight in the world.
Yeah.
He fought at 135 for this one, so I'm curious to see if he is okay at staying at 135, if he would rather be the biggest flyweight in the world down at 125 because he's very long for that division. He's a big dude for 125. He's even big for 135 to be honest.
Mm.
So I'm excited to see, where he, calls his home in his pro career. I'm sure he's now 1-0 as a pro. I'm sure he'll start, making those decisions and figuring that stuff out as he goes. But yeah, dude, 1-0 as a pro. You can't get a better debut than that. Like you said, Von Flue choke to start the night card off, started us off hot, man, had the building going crazy. And
Nuts.
that energy honestly just carried out through the entire night, man. It was insane. So props to Joe, man. I'm super happy for him. Want to know as a pro. Kid's got all the potential in the world. He could, go on a run like Valdina has in his pro career. 3-0, three finishes. I could see Joe kind of following that same path. I could see the building getting louder and louder for Joe every time he steps in the cage as it already has, but kind of following what Valdina has done in his pro career. I could see that same kind of arc for Joe Poirier as well.
Yeah, dude. And just a few of these performances, it's only a matter of time until these bigger promotions are taking notice and
Mm.
that's when New England MMA is just gonna bloom, just gonna blow up.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. We got a lot of talent brewing, man. A lot of
Hell
young
yeah.
guys that just turned pro that are very, very talented and ready to make a name and make some noise, and they're already starting.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of making a name, Mr. Fantastic Four. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Captain America. You got
Captain
your
America.
superheroes wrong, but it's close enough.
Dude, I'm the worst when it comes to like superheroes and like
Yeah,
Marvels.
that's my stuff. So
Okay,
I got
okay.
you. I
My
got you.
bad, my bad, my
Nah, you good.
bad.
Yeah, man. He came in. He looked all right, man. He looked all right.
Yeah.
Not as impressive as his last performance, but definitely still went out there and got a W.
Yeah, against a guy who was taller than him, longer than him, could look like he was better on the feet than he was, and he just got it to the spot where he dominates and closed out the fight.
Yeah, man. A lot of good grappling exchanges between those guys. It's like
Yeah.
every time they had a little bit of space, the other person was pressing and getting close and, going for takedowns. The scrambles were crazy between the two of them. Just a lot of exciting, as long as because a lot of people don't really like the grappling exchanges like that. But I mean, as an MMA fan, you got to get hip to both sides. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was cool to see the way that they were both kind of feeding off each other and just kind of battling in those grappling exchanges. I thought it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, man. It made for a fun fight and a good finish by Muse.
It was, it was. That's only my second time that I've seen him in Cage Titans. I know he's a pro. He's in his 30s. He even said when he got on the mic after that, he's just out here to like test himself. I don't know if he's really pressing to like make a super big push to any big promotions or anything, but that type of arc isn't for everybody either. But he's a guy, so this military guy. He goes out here, he puts on a show. He does always some crazy walk. I think he had tapped
Yeah,
shoes on this time.
yeah,
Last time I saw him, he was dancing with the military members, holding the flags, doing like a
yeah.
little choreographed dance. This time he comes out with the tap shoes. Um, you know, Second time I've seen him, two finishes. The guy always puts on a show. He's super entertaining for the fans, and he's definitely growing a little bit of a little fan base over there in Cage Titans for sure.
Hell yeah, man. And being from Boston, that just adds to his case, man. It's hard not to like a hometown guy like that.
Exactly, exactly. The next one up, man. This one was crazy too. Shane Dillahay, Aaron Trussell.
The
Uh,
Hurricane.
Dude, it was a hurricane for sure. Aaron Trussell, the earthquake, man, just out there causing havoc. Um, Goes out there and gets a finish, man. Very intimidating dude. I wouldn't want to mess with
Yeah,
that, man. He's a muscular dude. Definitely big, and he looks big in the cage. Shane Dillahay, we know we've seen him at cage signs a couple times. Like, it's unfortunate that he had to take an L, but I'm sure we'll see him bounce back. He has a good gym over there at Triforce. Those guys will get him right. And he did some good things in the cage as well, so nothing to hang his head on. Trussell just came out there and got it done. It was insane, man. How'd you feel about that fight?
yeah, man. This was one of the most exciting fights of the night, just because Dilhay, it looked like in that first round he almost got a finish.
Exactly.
He had the Hurricane in bad spots, raining down elbows,
Hmm.
and then just the second round came around, it was a whole different ball game, and the Hurricane, as soon as that fight ended, and he was losing his mind, man. And like I was talking about the Showbird and earlier, that just is so entertaining,
Mm.
and I'm excited. I hope the Hurricane makes a return to Cage Titans, and I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes very close on this guy.
Yeah, man, he's definitely exciting. He's now evens it out at 3-3 as a pro. Yeah, he was, had nothing short to say on the mic either. He
Yeah,
he kind of explained his actions a little bit. He said that
right.
he apologized on the mic and said that he'll try and clean it up for the next one. But he took whatever Shane Dillahay had said on a podcast to heart and used that as fuel and just kind of let it out after the fight ended. Dillahay's coaches did not enjoy it. Obviously, they tried to get in there and mix it up with Aaron Trussell, and Trussell had words for him back. But it was all in all for the fans, it was entertainment for them inside the cage. I'm sure tempers were flaring and whatnot, but
Yeah.
for us watching cage side, man, it was like what the hell's going on in there, but it was entertainment regardless. Like you said, the showboating, the animosity, um, just set the tone for the night, man. Like I said, the energy from the Poirier fight just kept carrying over fight after fight after fight, and it got bigger and bigger every fight that went on. And when this happened, it blew the building up. Everybody was going nuts trying to figure out what was going on inside the cage, and the kid gets the job done, and we'll see if he makes it back to cage times again, man. And he was fun to watch for sure.
Hell yeah. And that's another guy who's from Boston. So, even if he's not with Cage Titans, I'm sure he'll be close by and keep a close eye on him, man. He's a massive 170. Like
Yeah,
I
he's
think
a big boy.
you said that earlier at the beginning, dude. He's huge. And it was like clear he looked bigger than Dilhay. So nothing to hang
Yeah.
his head on, man. Dilhay's he's a beast too. He had a great first round and just put himself in a bad spot in that second. And props to the Hurricane, man.
Yeah, bro. Props to him. Definitely a big W, which carried us over to the next fight, man.
Mhm.
Andrew Valdina versus Mike Taylor. Some of the biggest pops of the night is every time Valdina makes his walk to the cage. The kid has, you know, collected a group of people, collected the hearts of the Cage Titans fans, man. Every time he shows up, he gets some of the biggest cheers of the night, and it was no different this time. Like we mentioned earlier, man, fight after fight, the crowd gets louder and louder for this kid. Um, he's one of the biggest prospects, I would say, in New England right now for everybody to keep their eye on. 3-0 as a pro now, 3 first-round finishes, all 3 submission wins. Um, and this time, man, he landed that crazy
Mm.
step check left hook, put Mike Taylor down. I think a lot of people didn't know that Andrew had power like that in his hands. to really drop somebody like he did. So it was good to see, now that that's on tape for everybody to take notice of, and it's just another thing for his opponents to have to worry about. But props to Valdina, man. He goes up there and he amazes me every time he gets in the cage. Also, there's nobody, more deserving besides that kid. He puts all the hard work in, works his ass off. Uh, you know, very grateful for all the success that he's seen. So I'm super proud of him for getting that W. Did it in very impressive fashion. I think he did it faster than even he thought he was going to get it done in.
Mm.
But props to Valdina, man. The kid's an absolute stud. 3-0, like I said, training at Lausanne's MMA. Very excited to see if he makes another quick turnaround. If we see him again in May, that'd be crazy.
Dude, that'd be nuts. I don't doubt it because if this is like back to back to back cards, right? He hasn't missed one in how long?
Yeah, dude, that's how he was in the Emmys too. He was always every card, just bang, bang, bang. Took a little bit of time off after his Emmy finale before he turned pro. He took a little time, and then now that he's been on a roll, I think he said 3 wins in like his 4 or 5 months now. These three fights
Wow,
have happened, so
nuts.
the kid's getting quick finishes and taking minimal damage and just able to quickly turn around and get back in there. So
Mm.
he's staying very active. We'll see what he does in the next one. See if we see him in May or if maybe he takes a little bit of time off. But very excited to see what's next for him, man.
Hell yeah. Whatever he does, I know the whole New England will be watching, man. This kid is so fucking exciting from the second his music starts and he hits that like stage, it's fireworks in that building. It almost felt like 75% of the people there were screaming for him.
Oh
If
yeah.
I'm his opponent, I'm like, damn, what did I sign up for?
It's definitely a little intimidating when you know that you're the guy that's fighting the hometown guy where the
Right.
crowd's on their side. It's got to be a little intimidating. I've never had to be on that. The closest I ever got to that was playing like a road game and like high school athletics, you know what I mean? But that's just nothing when you're in there, doing
Right.
fisticuffs 1v1 versus somebody.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
yeah, man. I remember after the fight was over, Steve leaned over to me and he goes, "Of all the people that have fought for Cage Titans, man, I think like he is the one that has like the complete package as like being the most ready for the next level as far as like his
Mhm.
brand, the gladiator thing. He walks out and he does the hand raise, fist chest thing every time he gets up before he walks out. His music's the same every time. He's great on the microphone. He's an even better
Yeah.
fighter. I think he just has the full package. If you listen to him in interviews, he's very well spoken on the mic. He knows how to promote his fights. He knows how to break down his opponents on the mic. He knows how, everything about the kid, his full package is just ready for the next level. And I think he is, one of the hottest prospects in New England right now. It's 3-0 as a pro. I think it's time for people to start taking notice if they haven't already. And, like I said, I think the kid's ready for whatever comes for him.
Yeah, dude. And it's funny you mentioned him on interviews. I'm actually having him on my podcast, The Hurt
Oh yeah.
Business, in a few days. So I'm pumped for that, dude. My first time talking to him, and
Yeah, you'll enjoy it, man. He's a blast to have on. He's a good kid.
yeah, you've had him on a bunch of times, right?
Yeah, I enjoy
Hell
talking to him.
yeah.
He's one of my favorite people to have on. He's great. He's great to talk to. He's one of those interviews where you don't have to pry too much. He's very good at talking on the mic, so he'll give you
Nice.
he'll give you a good show for sure. And I'll make sure I tune in for that one
Hell
100%.
yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I can't wait for that. And yeah, as far as the fight, man, he just blows it out of the water every time. So whatever happens next for him, I'll be front row for that, hopefully.
Thanks, 100%.
Dude. And you said lows on MMA, but let's shout out the basement, man. Mom's
Of
basement,
course, of course. How
Pete
can we sleep on the
Luciani. Come
basement?
on. Hell yeah, dude. They're pumping out studs. Joe Poirier's also down there. Dude, they're
Yeah.
there. I gotta make my way out there.
I know. I definitely want to. I love the content that they turn out of that basement too.
Right.
Connor's basement with Andrew and all those guys, Aaron Johnson. They got a good crew down there. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like I said to Andrew, I was like, I don't know how you guys start running out of room soon with how many people you guys keep pulling down into the basement. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good crew though, man. They handle business down there for sure.
Real talk, man. Shout out Connor's parents for letting him make that happen, man. He came
Right?
on my show and told me all about it, and that's just so cool, man.
Yeah, it is awesome. I love seeing all the stuff that they're doing down there, man. It's great work. Good work too, and entertaining for us to watch on the
Yeah.
outside.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let's get into the next one, man. Jacob Bond versus Ali Zebian. This was a fight that a lot of people had circled on their cards as a potential, fight of the night. Two very exciting fighters. Very back and forth fight too. They were just trading blows back and forth. Ali was cracking Jacob Bond. Bond was cracking Zebian, man. It was entertainment from start to finish. And then Jacob Bond just, goes out there and pulls off a slick submission to get the W. Hits that roll, goes crazy, and then the crowd was just eating it up, man, eating it up for sure. It was a blast to watch.
Yeah, dude, it was a blast, and shout out Bond, dude. It felt like he was down 2 rounds, and then he sniped that like rolling guillotine in that third, and
Mm.
just lost his mind after, rightfully so as well, right? I mean, you're down 2-0 and trying to squeeze one out, the Hail Mary almost, and he did it, dude. It was real impressive.
It was awesome, man. He definitely crushed it. And then he ran right over to, I think his corner was where we were sitting, and
Right.
he climbs the cage and jumps up top, and all of his people were going crazy, and he was flexing on the crowd. He was hype, man. It was awesome to see. I know he does have his own gym that he's training some people out. I think he had a couple guys on this card too. So he not only is he fighting, he's also out there being a head coach and turning out good talent out of his gym. So props to him, and he
Yeah,
did a good
that's
job. And
awesome.
every time he comes to Cage Titans, man, every fight that I've seen, it's always super exciting. I know he had a good fight with Giannetti last year. That was entertaining, and I think he fought Peter Barrett
Mm.
um maybe a couple fights ago for him. He fought Peter Barrett, and that was entertaining as hell. So the guy doesn't have a boring fight anytime I've seen him fight. So anytime I see him on a card, I know it's going to be an exciting fight for sure.
Hell yeah, man. I'm pumped to see what he does next.
Me too, man. Me too. I know he's usually, I mean, he's usually pretty active. I mean, maybe not every card kind of guy, but every few months we see him come around. He's like I said, he's always fun. So anytime you see him on a card, it's gonna be a good one for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Even if he's not fighting, cornering guys, just being
Yeah,
involved is cool to see.
exactly, 100%. Next one, man. Jack Congdon versus the legend, Jay Ellis. Everybody in New England knows who Jay Ellis is. Don't act like you don't know him. Everybody's seen him fight before. The man just saves cards, bro. I respect the hell out of him because Jack Congdon had an opponent, Chris Berberich. Berberich, pulls out. So I don't know the story behind what happened there. But Jay Ellis comes in and saves the day for Jack Taunton to make sure this camp doesn't go to waste for him. Goes in there and gives him a fight. Congdon got him out of there early. I think we all expected him to. Standing, what was it? It was like a standing triangle, standing arm in triangle, or standing guillotine. I don't know, whatever it was, a standing choke. There's too many fights for me to keep track of. I was there for 27 fights. I mean, trying to remember all the finishes off the top of my head, but I know it was a standing submission finish for Jack.
Yeah.
Um, that's another one of these young pro kids, man, for Cage Titans in the New England area that is just somebody that you have to keep your eye on at all times. Um, Dominant win, within a minute finish there. The kid's a machine, big 170-pound guy, man,
Huge. Yeah.
long dude. Um, just amazing performance. What do you think of
Uh,
Jack's
ex-
performance there, man?
yeah, exactly that, man. Shout out Ellis coming through in the clutch, saving the day. But yeah, man, Cogden's a real guy. That's a guy that I'm interested to see his stand-up game a little bit more, just like
Mhm.
his striking in that. That's what I really want to see because he's so big and massive. I feel like he definitely has like that one crack type pop. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for him. And hopefully we can get it matched up with a striker in the future one, Cage Titans.
For sure, I agree, man. I know post fight he did get on the mic and he called for Trevor Goody, who
Oh,
is bigger and longer than Jack is.
right,
I think he's more well known for his grappling. So I think Jack might be forced to strike in that type of fight because he doesn't want to go test the waters with a long, lanky guy on the ground like Trevor Goody, who has a lot more experience in the pro game than
right.
Jack does. You know what I mean? Um, Goody just in the fight versus Joe for the welterweight title. We saw him there, and I haven't seen him back in the Cage Titans cage since. I don't know if he had any action outside of then, but he's well tested. He's a veteran of New England MMA right now. Jack calling him out for only his second pro fight is a bold move. I
Yeah,
think even when he said his name, Cupcakes, who was Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, who was doing the interview, that kind of did like a whoa, wasn't expecting that one. That's a big name to call out in your second pro fight. But I know Jack's down for the test. The dude wants to test himself. He's very talented. He had a great amateur career as an amateur champion. Now he's just on that road to try and get the Cage Titans welterweight belt. Now, I mean, the kid has all the talent in the world to do it. So I'm very excited to see if that's the belt that they make next for Jack, because that is like a top of the card, maybe not main event, but like co-main event, third fight
mm,
from the top type of bout. I think that's a very interesting fight, and that's one that I would want to see too. I think that's going to be a good test for Jack, and we'll be able to really see all of his skills on display in that one.
yeah, dude. The Scarecrow is just an uncomfortable matchup for anybody.
Mm.
And shout
That's a
out,
long dude.
yeah, Cogden, man. Now he's just calling him out after his first pro fight, and that kid's a problem, man. He's gonna really cause some ruckus.
I agree, man. These dude, Cage Titans has no problem turning out these young pro prospects, man. Like this is another one. Like when you think about their Joe Poiriers, the Andrew Valdinas, the Jack Congdons of the world, all these guys, their careers and their futures are bright, man. They got a lot of potential. High ceiling is very high for those guys.
Hell yeah, it is, man. Shout out Cage Titans for giving them such a wonderful platform to let these
Exactly.
guys grow their brand and their image.
I agree. I agree, man. All right, man, let's get right into the next one then. Jeff Joy versus Carl Langston. Another one of these entertaining fights for the fans, man. All this is like we're talking about all these fights, man. It was finish after finish after finish after finish.
Right.
And you gotta love that as a fan when you're watching. We love to see finishes. As much as we love to see decision wars, we love to see some finishes as well. And Jeff Joy didn't disappoint with another submission win. The kid just knows how to win by submission at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. This was my first ever Joe Joyce, is it?
Jeff Joy.
Jeff Joy, sorry.
Mhm.
Jeff Joy. This is my first time watching him fight, and I turned into a fan, I would say. That's definitely a fair statement.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff is actually a kid from my hometown. We went to the same high school. He's only a year older than me, so we technically went to high school together. Even though we didn't really cross paths or nothing, we didn't really know each other like that. But I knew of him. I knew he's in the fight game, so now it's cool being able to watch him fight. 4-0 as a pro now. I know he had to take a little bit of time off. He had a bad elbow injury, so he had to rehab that and get that fixed. He has a great camp over there with Loco Lobo and the Daniel Gracie family that he trains with. Just amazing grappler. I think all of his professional wins have come by submission. If I do believe that's correct. The kid just knows how to get it done on the mats, man. He did it again versus Langston, who was a tough dude. He's a veteran, 2-8, now 2-9 after Saturday night. But the dude has a lot of fights, a lot of experience. And Jeff went in there and got a submission win, man. I'm sure he maybe had a little bit of ring rust to rub off on him. So it was good to see him, shake that off and get back to business and get that submission win, man. So props to
Yeah.
Jeff, man. It was awesome to see him back in there finally. It's been a while.
Hell yeah, dude. And if ring rust was a thing for him, he definitely didn't. It didn't look like it.
Yeah, exactly. He did a good job of hiding it if that was a thing for him.
The only critique is next time you throw your mouthpiece, don't throw it at the media guys. Don't throw it the other way. Throw it at the people who
Yeah.
want to take it home.
I know, right? Dude, we have the clip of it on social of him just throwing the mouthpiece up. I don't know, because a lot of his fans and like the people, his training partners and the family of the guy that owns the gym that he trains at, they all sit in that section, like kind of behind where we were standing. So I don't know if he was trying to throw it to them and it just like ricocheted and landed down. But whatever happened, it landed right in front of our feet. And I was like, anybody want this? And nobody wanted to touch it. So it sat there for the entire night. Nobody touched it. And then, when Jeff walked by after, I was like, yo, Jeff, your mouthpiece is down here. He just laughed his ass off and kept walking. He didn't care either. So I was like, hell, okay, if you don't want your mouthpiece back, I'm gonna just leave it on the floor then.
Yeah. Somebody else will walk past us and be like, oh, cool, and take it home.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Imagine.
Oh,
Crazy, man.
dude. Yeah, but great performance by him, man. First round sub. I'm excited to see what's next. I wonder if he's going to take some time off or he's trying to remain active now, just catch the next one on the next card, which is in May, I believe, right?
Yeah, May 27th, I believe, is the next card.
Sweet.
So end of May. We got a couple months, right? March, April, May. Yeah, a couple months to go until the next one. So plenty of time for Jeff. I mean, it wasn't a long fight for him, man, either. So he definitely, if he wants to, I'm sure he can make that turnaround if he got out of there healthy and everything went according to plan, physically for him. I'm sure if he wanted to, he'd get back on the next one and, stay active since he missed a lot of time. Maybe you might want to get some of that back.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome, man.
It would. He's a fan favorite too, man. He's a local kid. He's from Bourne. Fights take place in Plymouth, only like 20, 25, 30 minutes away. So he brings a big crowd, and they definitely pop off for him whenever he's in the building, man. So he brings the crowd and he knows how to win. So props to Jeff. Congrats on the W, my man, and hopefully we'll get to see you back in there soon.
Hell yeah, man. Big congrats.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Let's get into the co-main event. One of the craziest fights anybody will ever see. I'm glad that we were there to witness this one live. It just hit a whole lot different. I watched the clips back on social media, and on Spectation Sport. Shout out to the streaming partner with Cage Titans. They have the fights available on their platform if anybody wants to go back and watch them because they're amazing, and I highly recommend that you do. But going back and even watching it on there, it just didn't hit the same as us being there live, man. Like I've seen a lot of fights in my day. This is arguably the greatest
Yeah.
fight I've ever witnessed live. It was absolute insanity, slugfest, blood, sweat, tears all over that cage, man. It was insane to witness. Um, what's your thoughts on the fight, man?
Dude, all the above. It was very highly, as Peter Barrett always says, this was highly calculated violence, man, in every department. I mean, it started like with the press conference. I don't know if you tuned in, but they were
Of course.
talking shit, and it was, oh man, they're going back and forth, and Peter was just like it looked like in the grand scheme, in hindsight, there's no beef there, but you got to sell a fight, and nobody does it like Pete. And he was just going and going, and Mo did not stand down one bit. Mo didn't shy away from any moment to talk
Mhm.
shit back. He was right back at it, and he talked. I don't speak English very well, but he was coming right back at him, talking his shit, and I
Mhm.
fucking love the back and forth banter, man. And then the fight lived up to it. The fight was everything we could have wanted as a fan. I mean, Mo, what's his nickname? The Martian, the alien? I know that's like his
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head his nickname. I should know
uh
that, but
yeah,
yeah,
dude, whatever it is. This like he's such a savage, bro, and he didn't shy away from Barrett, who's a vet, who's been doing this for so long. He didn't
Mhm.
shy away from any moment. He stood with him. He did not give up. And Barrett's just a savage, dude. His kicks are just so fucking powerful, man.
Yeah, dude. Every time you
So powerful.
can hear him ringing in the hall every time he lands one of those. They crack for sure.
Dude, and it don't even come fast. You can kind of see it coming, but once it connects, once he throws it, that shit cracks. And
Yeah,
man,
man.
this fight was everything I could ever wanted, man. This was the one circled on my agenda, like on my calendar of all these fights.
Hmm.
I was most excited for this one because of the back and forth banter at the press conference on socials beforehand.
Hmm.
And the fight just exceeded all expectations, man. I couldn't be more impressed by either one of these guys. I sent them both a DM like, thank you.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Like, thank you for giving us such an entertaining fight and putting so much on the line and gave us a great show, man.
Yeah, man. It takes two to tango, bro. P got the W, but Mo lost no stock at all
Yeah.
with this one. He went out there and stood toe to toe with one of the toughest guys to ever get into the Cage Titans cage. A veteran, a guy that's been to the UFC, fought the who's who in the region. Um, just comes in there day in and day out, works hard, hits hard, chin of steel. The dude, neither of
Yeah.
these guys were falling, bro. Like these guys did not want to go down. It was a 3 round fight, but dude, it felt like we were in there for like a 13 round like
Right.
boxing main event type deal. You know what I mean? Like these
Yeah.
guys were out here slugging it, blood everywhere. Both these guys look sharp, man. Even when you thought Pete was rocked, he was coming back with crisp strikes, like he was never even hurt. Same with Mo. Every time Pete hit Mo with some big shots, you'd be like, "Oh man, this might be it for Mo." And then Mo comes back with shots, like not even sloppy shots all the time. They were like still hitting crisp, straight shots were still landing clean with some pop on them too. I couldn't believe that both these guys were standing for as long as they did. Pete ends up getting the TKO victory in the third, but man, like instant classic. Everybody that saw the fight immediately, will coin it as the greatest fight in Cage Titans history. Definitely, I haven't been able to see every single fight in Cage Titans history,
Right.
but I've been to a good amount of shows in the last, you know, year and a half now, maybe almost 2 years. Um, Definitely the best fight I've ever witnessed inside the Plymouth Memorial Hall, if not the best fight I've ever witnessed in every MMA event that I've been to.
Wow.
Yeah, that's says a lot. I've been to some good events too, man. So um, it's everything you wanted in a fight, man. You mentioned it, the pre-fight drama on social media carried over to the weigh-ins, carried over to the press conference, and then the fight delivered exactly how you would want it. It was a 10 out of 10 in all aspects. Like I said, no stock lost, no love lost for Mo at all. The dude hung in there with a vet, and Mo showed that he belongs on that level of competition, man. He deserves to keep fighting these top tier guys in the region because
Right.
he can hang with these guys and he'll start racking up some W's against these guys as well. He's very very talented kid. Clearly has the heart of a lion. He's not gonna give up inside there at all, man. So props to both these guys. Definitely deserving of all the praise this fight is getting. Um, And dude, I just gotta speak on the atmosphere of the building too, man.
Yo, hell
I
yeah.
have never felt anything like this inside of a fight ever in my life, dude. Like I could feel because 90% of the fans inside that building, if not more, were there for Pete, right?
Dude,
The Pete fans
99.
the Pete fans were going crazy. You know, he's a hometown guy. He's been fighting for Cage Titans forever. It's obvious that he's gonna be the A side on this one. But dude, you could just feel like the electricity and like the animosity inside the building where like my adrenaline was going. I was like,
Yeah.
that's how buzzing it was in there. I was like, man, like anything could pop off at any moment. We knew these guys had some bad blood leading up. We weren't sure what was going to happen, you know, in the fight or which way it was going to go. We saw added security around the cage just
Yeah.
in case something crazy happened. This all of it added to the atmosphere of this fight, man. And the fight, like I said, like I keep saying, the fight itself did not disappoint. It was
Right.
insanity, pure
Yeah,
insanity.
yeah, dude. So much so that like Mike in between rounds would have to jump into the cage and stand in the middle just so we can keep peace and keep the calm. But yeah, dude, you mentioned the electricity of that building like during those rounds.
Mm.
I remember at one point I just like took a breeze and like looked around the whole arena just to get a feel. Bro, the security guards, the staff, the dudes in like the yellow shirt that work in the building, everybody in that building was locked in. And
Yeah.
everybody was talking to the person next to them, just hyped up. There was one dude legit trying to climb the fucking things that hold up the lights. It was madness in all the best ways possible. And that's what fighting does, man.
Exactly. Especially, you know, when you get a storyline like we got for this one with the animosity between the two guys leading up, and then, you know, the amount of talent that they have as fighters, and then just the absolute bloodbath war that the fight was, you know, it all lends itself to just an absolutely amazing fight. And, you know, like we keep saying, this one will go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest Cage Titans fight of all time.
Hell yeah, dude. And like you, I've only been going to their events the past year or so. So I'm probably not the best person to ask, but by far that's the best fight I've seen under their banner and all my events, just all the time. I've been there, man. That fight was unbelievable. I walked into that fight a fan of Pete, watching him for all these years, and I left that fight a fan of Pete and Mo. So it's like win-win, I think. It is a loss technically, but I think stock risen for both guys, and hopefully the UFC is calling Pete.
I think Pete's one of those guys where I think he's always on call for, you know, the UFC. He's a guy that's been there. You know, if you turn on a Pete fight, you know what you're getting with the guy. So I'm sure if there's a shot for him to slide in somewhere, there's a lot of deserving guys in the region. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure if there's somebody that they're gonna call, if they want to call on last minute, I'm sure that Pete's on their short list of guys from the region to call. So
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he'll get back in there soon, especially if he keeps turning out performances like this, man, where it's like
dude.
win, lose, or draw, the guy puts on entertainment fights. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of him or not. The guy knows how to entertain and he knows how to win. He's been doing it. So props to Pete, man. Props to Pete. And, you know, like you said, man, props to Mo. My first time seeing Mo fight live, I've seen him
Same.
fight a couple times on like when he was fighting on like streams or whatnot and like other promotions. I'd seen him fight. The dude's got super talented guy. I know, obviously we know a couple of his Evo teammates that he trains with, like Jiggy and Tyler Smythe and all those guys. So we've known about Mo on the Cage Titan scene. I know. So it's good to see him, you know, fight a pro fight here on Cage Titans and put on a show for the fans, man. I can't talk about this fight enough, man. It's just amazing, man, amazing. It's the one fight that everybody's going to be talking about when it comes to this event. But then we got, if you didn't think the card could get crazier, man, after that fight, I was like, man, there's no way we're going to be able to top this fight. Enter the party, Joe Penafiel and John Duma, man, in the main event. And this
Mhm.
fight was every bit as entertaining as the Pete and Mo fight. It was an absolute war, man, absolute war. Um, Another one, blood all over the place. You could see
Yeah.
the judges ringside holding up paper in front of their face and like kind of just like looking over so they could watch the fight, but you know, using the paper and the folders as like a backsplash to make sure they didn't get blood all over them. Because
Yeah.
like that's how crazy the shit was going in this one too, man. And you got two lighter guys, 135ers out there slugging it out for 5 rounds. You know, the party ends up getting the W. I had him winning four out of the 5 rounds, excuse me. But Duma showed nothing but heart and was out there bringing it to the party, man. It takes, like I said in the last one, it takes two to tango, and these boys went out there and put on a show, man. It was insanity.
Yeah, dude. It at this point, like you said, after the Barrett fight, it was just like how much like is it possible to get any funner in this building? And
Right.
it did. Party hit the stage and that dude's dancing and he's grooving and he's hugging kids in the front row and he's putting on a show. And Duma's like the complete opposite in terms of character. Like he's more reserved, quiet.
Mm.
But once that bell rang, man, Duma's a savage, man. Duma's a
Facts.
savage. And Party is too. Party kept coming. Party was showboating, things we'd love to see. But also the showboating wasn't just talk. Party backs it all up. He was getting shots in all different sorts of angles, winning a lot of the wrestling positions, even on the ground. Duma's clearly a black belt, more skilled in that department, but Party was landing ground and pound in a lot of cool positions that I didn't expect to see. But like you said, man, Duma showed nothing but toughness and resilience. Some shit you cannot teach, and Duma got it, man.
Yeah, man. For anybody that's seen John Duma fight in the past, it's well known that the dude's never in a boring fight, and continues that resume right on through this one, man. The guy has, like you said, man, toughness, resiliency, all those words that you can use to describe somebody. He is all that and more. The kid's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, man. His ground game is, he always says that that's the strongest aspect of his game as a mixed martial artist. And you could see him locking up some solid submission attempts too. I think just in the later, as long as that fight kept going, they were getting bloodier and sweatier, and Party was able to, slide out of some positions. Duma was losing some of those grappling exchanges because of that, I believe. But the kid has all the potential and all the talent in the world. And then you mentioned Party, man. The guy loves to come out there and have a good time. He came out there always doing what he's doing. He goes out there with the music blasting. He's doing his dance, press conference. He loves to talk trash. And he's the type of guy that will say, like, he needs that type of trash talk to get him fired up. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to go out there and try and get inside your head, try and get you fired up, try and get you so fired up that you start fighting emotional and start making little mistakes that maybe you wouldn't have made before, because of the fact that he tries to get in your head and do that trash talk beforehand. And it works for a majority of the time. I don't know if it worked against John. I think that was the fight that it was going to be, regardless of the trash talk or not, because both those guys are very highly talented, skilled fighters. I think we were in for a good fight regardless of the trash talk. But obviously that adds a little bit of entertainment and a little more fun to it. Party loves, every time Party gets hit with a couple shots, he loves to do, his hands up, making faces at you, blowing kisses, all the stuff that Party does. That's why we love him at Cage Titans, man. He comes and he puts on a show. He's an out of town guy who turns into a hometown every time he steps into the building, which is you don't see very often, especially inside the Plymouth Memorial Hall. So props to Party. Hopefully it's been a little bit since we've seen him. Hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer to get him back inside there, because he's always a good time. He's a good fighter as well. I mean, very, very entertaining all the way through and through. So props to John, man. Like I said, I did have Party winning the fight 4-1 on my card. But same thing as Mo, no stock lost in John Duma, man. Kid's tough as nails. And I'm just as excited to see what happens with him in his next fight, because now he's a guy that if you saw this fight, every time you see John Duma on a fight announcement, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah. Depending on his opponent, regardless of his opponent, I should say, John Duma's bringing it.
Facts. The dude loves to fight, man. He's, like I said, he's never been in a boring fight. So the kid knows how to put on a show for sure. And he's not, like you said, he's not the type of guy that puts on a show with the words. He's a very reserved dude. He doesn't like to do the trash talk. He doesn't like to do all the antics. He just likes to let the fighting do the talking, and he let it do the talking on Saturday night, man. He was 50% of that show that was put on Saturday night with the Party. And, he held his own and put on a show for the fans. So nothing but respect to those guys, man. They went out there and laid their bodies on the line. Duma's face was all chewed up. Party's face was all chewed up by the end of the fight. They're a different breed, man. Not a lot of guys can go out there and do the things that they did.
Yeah, real talk, and just stick through all 5 rounds like that and keep coming until the very last second of that fight is something that, like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about, man. And one thing that you talked about, like Party's antics and his trash talk, and one thing he said on the mic that I found really interesting was that he talks all the shit, and that's just for him. He's not talking for his opponent. It's just to hype himself up and to get him in a place where, all right, I said all these things. now I gotta back it up. I can't just be all talk, and that adds a pressure to him. And every time he does that, he delivers.
Mhm,
So it was cool for me to hear that at his post fight press conf or the post fight interview, whatever.
mhm.
Party's up, man. Party's him. I'm really, really interested in knowing like is how close he is for getting that next call up to the next level. Like we seen him fight on the Masvidal card, where I'm pretty sure he got the victory there as well.
I believe
And
so, yeah.
it's like how many of these in a row he has a championship at Cage Titans. Like the guy like JoJo, like all these guys who just keep winning on this local regional scene. They got to get the call up, man. One of these bigger promotions gotta hit the lineup.
For sure, man. It just seems like it's just a matter of time for these guys. You know, like you said, if you keep winning, I don't know what else you can possibly do to deserve a shot at the call, man. So, you know, Party's no different there. Super entertaining dude fighting
Oh
at
yeah.
135, man, the lighter weights, and being able to carry that energy for 5 rounds takes cardio, man. It takes skill, it takes talent. The kid's got it all. So hopefully we'll see what's next for him, man. Hopefully, you know, selfishly, I love to see him fight at Cage Titans again, so I could just go watch the show and be a
Right.
fan and be a fly
Yeah.
on the wall and be able to watch it. But you know, for him, I'm sure he wants to get that next call up and see what's good there. So that puts a bow on it, man. Cage Titans 58 day night doubleheader. Overall, man, thoughts on the entire card, man.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a bit sad that I didn't make it for the first part of the card. It's just for me, 12 hours, it's just too much for me. I wouldn't have been able to stick through that night card. And I'm so glad that I did it the way I did. That night card was fucking phenomenal. Thank you to Cage Titans. Thank you to all the fighters. I cannot recommend it enough. If you haven't gone to a Cage Titans event, there's no reason not to. Like this, if you're a fan of MMA, of course, there's nothing better in the area. The Cage Titans and a few guys we didn't get to see on this card that were scheduled. Jojo Giannetti and Luigi Venturini,
Hmm.
they were both in the building. It was cool to see both of those guys still come out, show love to the promotion and all the fighters there. And it's sad we didn't get to see them fight. But I'm just wishing a speedy recovery for Jojo. We love you. We're excited to see you in the coming months and what's next for you. And Pat Gilbride, a guy who's making a comeback. I was excited to see him fight again. Well, first time watching his fight live.
Hmm.
Didn't get to see it, but that's okay. I'm sure. I know he's taking a honeymoon, some time off. So enjoy that, Pat, if you're listening. And we'll catch you on the next one. And Cage Titans, I fucking love you. Thank you for putting on great shows, and I can't wait to see you in May.
Agreed, man. I'll be there May 27th, Cage Titans 59. We did have one fight announcement for that card already. Miguel Savesin versus Sergey Persunko for the amateur lightweight title, I believe. I believe he's the lightweight title holder in the amateurs. So obviously, first fight announced already. It's a banger. I'm sure the rest of the card is going to be fire as well. So very excited for that event. Cage Titans, you said it, man. I'll double the sentiments there, man. They put on a hell of a show. Anybody that's in the region that hasn't been to a show, you're really missing out. Even if you're not a big fan of mixed martial arts, if you're not a fan of combat sports, it's just a good night out. All in all, get out there, get in your seats, have some drinks, have a good time with the boys and the fam and whoever you got to bring out there with you. It's a blast to get out there. And then it's the area that the arena's in is fun as well, man. You're down by the Plymouth waterfront. You got plenty of bars and restaurants if you guys want to do a little pregame before the card. Plenty of stuff to do down there. The fights obviously turn up, and they'll turn you into a Cage Titans fan the first time you step in there. Nothing but love and respect for all the Cage Titans guys, all the guys behind the scenes that put in all the hours of work. What they do is amazing as well. So every time I go to an event, I have nothing but great things to say about them. They treat us well as media. They let us go in there and
Yeah.
do our thing and turn out great content. We are able to go talk to the fighters. All the things that you need to do as a media member, they allow you to do that there. So if there's anybody out there that wants to get into that avenue as well, if you're a content creator, hit up the Cage Signs guys and let's get in the building and turn out some content, man. But yes, all in all, man, 10 out of 10 event. Amazing. The day card was like the appetizer, and then the night card just turned all the way up and delivered a card that we didn't think was even possible to deliver.
Right. Michelin
Entertain.
star-esque, right?
Yes, yeah, some 5-star Gordon Ramsay type stuff.
Yeah,
Amazing card, man. Ferris, thanks for coming on and
my
joining me,
brother.
man. It's always a pleasure talking to you. It's a blast hanging out with you Saturday night. I'm sure we'll do it again soon. It's always a good time, man. Every time we chop it up, it's always a blast. It's easy every time we come on here. We just shoot the shit and talk fights, man. It's easy stuff.
Yeah, man, we're a pair of guys who just love fights, man, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on the pod. It was a pleasure being here for the first time, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. We still got to get that. We still got to get a boxing episode in too, man.
Dude, dude,
We do got a big one, Gervonta and Ryan. We could do a little something there.
big one there, and also this weekend, Benavidez and Plant.
True. I forgot
Big
that was a
ass fight,
Saturday
dude.
too. I forgot that
You
was
got
a
a pick for
Saturday.
that one? While we're here, fuck it.
I gotta go Caleb Plant, man. I got to.
I
I
would
got
love
to.
that.
I got
That
to.
that would make me happy. If Caleb Plant pulls this out, I would be very happy.
I agree. Benavidez is no joke. I've been, following Benavidez for a grip now. But I think I got to ride with Caleb Plant on this one, man. Like that's
Yeah,
my pick.
I
Talk to
love
me.
it,
I
man.
mean, you'll see me post a pick on Saturday and be like, "What the hell happened? Why are you picking Benavidez now?" I told you, man. The way my brain works, I flip flop a lot, but I think I'm sticking with Plant on this one.
Yeah, man. I would love to see Caleb Plant pull it out, but Benavidez, like you said, is such a big, ferocious speed, power, just got everything you would
The
want in a
length too.
fighter.
He's
Yeah.
super long for that division too, man.
Mm.
He's a blast to watch. It's gonna be a banger fight. I will be tuned in 100%. We got a UFC fights on at 7 on Saturday on the East Coast, so I'm sure that'll end and will give me just enough time to get it locked in for the main event of that boxing card, bro. So I'm super hyped.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you for having me, man. Enjoy the fights on Saturday, and I'll see you in May.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll see you in May, brother. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. Have a good rest of your night, man.
You too, my man.
Yes, sir.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.